And welcome back to the channel. In this video, I was just strolling back here in my backyard, and I was thinking about the trees that had came down. And someone had talked to me, an arborist that I know had talked to me, or that I've been dealing with when it comes to tree work, had talked to me about how important or how essential it is when it comes to tree maintenance. And I was thinking about it, for some time, because over the past few years of me being here in this property, it was just recently that I've had to have some trees taken down, and I believe that the reason why they were taken down is because they were neglected. When it comes to basically just having somebody look at them. When it comes to storm damage, you can't do anything about it. If the wind's going to take something down, the wind is going to take something down, or tropical storm weather or borderline hurricane, there's nothing you can do about that. It is what it is. But when it comes to the trees that are back here, because when it comes to me, sure, there was some trees that was over there to the right of the back of the house that was taken down. And of course, if you go back to some videos, you can see that there were some trees that was to the right over that borders my place and the neighbors, that was taken down because they were dead, and one was about 75% dead, and it was a big tree that needed to be taken down. There was a pine tree that was almost in that space right there. Well, actually, it's one tree that was that was attached to another one at the base, where it looked like it was two trees. They were essentially just connected at the base, and during a heavy storm, it came down, or a heavy windstorm. You can't do anything about that. But when it comes to trying to prolong the life of these trees, they have to be taken care of. They have to be maintained. And I kind of regret not looking into that, because if I were to do so, I feel that there would be more trees that would still be here as a result of it. So I should have took his suggestion when he made that suggestion years ago, over a decade ago. So, and it just makes me think about going back there. I mean, I can't go back there right now because of the what I fear is back there. My biggest fear is poison ivy there. I don't want to get exposed to poison ivy, and also that fox den, the fox on that side. But you got to believe that there's more dens over there. So that's my concern when I go back there during the winter. When everything starts to fall off, everything becomes more bare, then I'll be able to walk back there. I can see everything, but not right now. And I was also thinking about I want to be able to identify the trees that are back there, and I want to be able to save them. Because there's a lot of shade back there, I don't think that the trees that I thought were dead, unless it's obviously leaning over, is dead. It's just not getting as much sun. So pruning trees are very important, and they have to be done correctly by a professional, because if it's not done by a professional, some years ago there was a storm where, I don't want to place blame on a particular person or particular company, but when they went along the streets and started trimming the trees that were over, tree branches that was over the wires, just about all the trees that they touched had died. They became it over like the couple years or so. They basically just left a path. You can see all the homes that they had touched, no longer have a tree, because they need to be taken down, because what they did to my place, they did to my neighbors, and they did to the house after that, all the way around the corner. So there's maybe up to 10 houses, that had trees that was in the front yard that they trimmed for preventative maintenance that are no longer there. You know, is it coincidence? I don't believe in coincidence. At the same time, I don't want to, you know, say it was one particular person, but it's important and it's essential to have a professional do your tree work, because, you know, trees, they live a long time. You know, some, especially the big ones, you know, they could be over 100 years old. I mean, I don't know how old these trees are, you know, back here, but when they were planted with a purpose, and they were designed. You know, like I said, that's you know, some folks. I had put out a video asking for help identifying this tree right here and that one right there, and quite a few people have responded saying that they were catalpa trees. So these catalpa trees, they were planted for a purpose. They didn't just walk in themselves. So I just want to talk about the how important it is and how essential tree maintenance is, because, you know, I want to have what's here to stay what's here, and I kind of like it. You know, it creates some shade. The birds appreciate it. I know that for sure. You know, even the foxes back there, I'm sure they don't mind it. You know, they're not bothering me, so I'm not going to do anything about them. You know, it's part of wildlife, and it's nothing but brush back there. So it's just something to think about, that I was thinking about. So I wanted to express my thoughts before I forget about it. And to show you, this is another tree right here that was taken down. You can see where it was. I had to cut it because during a storm it had it knocked down. It was huge, and they took down one piece of it. But when the company that came to cut down some other ones, they asked me if I wanted that one cut down too. I said, may as well go ahead because it's not going to grow anymore. And what was up there was basically just going to die anyway. I didn't want it collapsing or anything like that. So it's just something to think about. And that's for now. I said what I was thinking about. That's it. I'm punching out. Want to see more of these type of videos? Subscribe and follow for more. Talk to you later.